All right, it's April 2nd, 7:05. I'm going to call the show cause hearing special meeting. Do I need to call those first? Those two special meetings at 7?
Yeah.
It says on the real agenda, immediately
They're both
following.
posted at the same time.
Yeah.
Which one do you want to say first?
Any preference?
We do 14 Park Lane. Start there.
Okay, that's on top. All right, so I'm calling the East Lyme Inland Wetlands Agency show cause hearing special meeting agenda for 14 Park Lane. And we're going to start with the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Thanks, Gary. All right, so show cause hearing cease and desist order for Andrzej Pawlowski, respondent, 14 Park Lane, Assessor's Map 4.7, Lot 23, Niantic, Connecticut.
So I essentially reissued this order because so much time has passed. I believe the applicant, the landowner, has received it. I have not yet heard back from him as far as a response. Again, I would note that this is approximately 300 feet from the nearest watercourse, which is at 2-4 Park Lane. It's been nearly a year since I initiated the first order, and as you can see from the pictures, this was the material that was I guess graded and placed in the rear of the property, which is approximately within 300 feet of the watercourse. Well, the impact on the inland wetlands and watercourse isn't maybe nearly as great as I would say on the marsh and the sound, which is the coastal area adjacent to the lot. So I have notified, I said, Mr. Mulholland. He's our coastal area management enforcement officer, and he would have some jurisdiction there as well. They're clearly, obviously not, I don't believe, in the audience tonight to respond to this. So essentially we will reach out one more time to them, maybe with a phone call, and then follow up with the town attorney as to next steps, which usually requests we request an injunction.
Okay. All right, do I hear a motion to adjourn?
Sure, Phyllis, I'll make a motion to adjourn.
A second.
Thank you. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Good. Okay. Moving on to our second show cause hearing special meeting. This one is for a cease, correct, and restore order for Sound and Cove Land LLC owner, Flanders Road, Assessor's Map 31.0, Lot 1, East Lyme, Connecticut.
Again, I have not heard back from this Sound and Cove LLC. So my guess is, again, within 10 days, maybe they haven't received it. I have not received the green card back yet, so it's possible that they didn't receive it. Although I did get a call from another property owner who did receive a letter, so I'm guessing, maybe it's because they're local, I don't know, versus New Jersey. So with that said, I will reach out and to the management company there. I guess I'll walk into the office and just say this needs to be fixed. So we'll just continue enforcement in that regard. If there is no response, obviously the next steps are an injunction. But looking at the severity of the situation, I think we just need to put pressure on them to correct it.
Yeah, so
time is kind of the essence.
we're within our 10 days to have this special hearing. At this point now, we're not under any kind of obligation from our...
Correct. We're just giving them their due process rights, and which is they have the right to come here and argue as to why they should not be held in violation of the regulations.
Okay, and then so we can add these both to the next agenda?
They will remain on the
for
agenda
ongoing
as
discussion.
enforcement items.
Perfect.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay, all right, thank you. Do I hear a motion to adjourn?
Make a motion to adjourn this
You
meeting.
done? Do I hear a second? Second. All those in favor? Aye. No opposed. All right, so now we are going to start our regular meeting. Do the Pledge of Allegiance. So we'll start with public delegations. Public delegation is the time when members of the public are invited to speak to the commission about certain matters. Issues or concerns related to approved wetland permits and in-house proposals or general topics of discussion are open to comment. Agenda items, referrals, applications subject to a decision by the commission. A public hearing or litigation may not be discussed. So is there anyone here that would like to speak?
Hi, my name's Mike McCormick. I live at 10 Brookfield Drive. I was actually looking at the show cause thing earlier, looking at the agenda, and I noticed that gentleman at Park Lane, were you actually able to get a hold of him? Because I think his name may actually be spelt wrong in GIS and in the agenda. I think he's a Yukon police officer, and he owns several properties just from like a quick Google search. So I think you may have his name spelled wrong, and he's a Yukon police officer.
We also had his address wrong, so it's very possible.
So he you know, just looking in GIS, I think his family owned the property you guys were, that he had an address there, but it was like a condo, and there were several properties there, and I think he probably lived there at one point, but I don't think he lives there anymore, and he owns several, similar, undeveloped properties around Connecticut. So I just saw that and figured I'd let you guys know.
Yeah, no, that's good to know, because
So-
we've not been able to get a hold of him.
What I did with this particular order is I sent it right to 14 Park Lane. The mailing address, he owns it. We sent the letter certified, so hopefully somewhere.
If you Google his last name, you'll find he's a Yukon police. I think you may double check, but I just thought I'd save somebody a painful.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
Yep.
Yeah, so you haven't gotten the green slip back yet? Or the?
Correct.
Okay, all right. So we have no public hearing tonight. Moving on to the acceptance of minutes from the meeting minutes of the March 5th, 2024 regular meeting. Do I hear a motion to approve the minutes from that meeting?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of March 5th,
Thank you.
2024.
Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
That's everybody. Okay. Ex officio report. I saw Ann. Oh, there you are. Hi, Ann.
Ann Chichello from the Board of Selectmen, ex officio. Information, Police Commission has reached their third tier of accreditation, the CLE accreditation, which is really excellent, and they're going to start helping other departments get accreditation. March 16th, there was a ribbon cutting for the planetarium, which I actually attended, and it was really nice, and it's a great place for kids and families and just for education. Something else that happened on the Board of Selectmen was there was a library feasibility plan that was presented to us, and this is to renovate the library, and there was input from the library, the Park and Rec, and the Senior Center. So the community center is what they're looking to renovate. Brian Cleveland Architects presented, and they had three different options. There was a small the cost was like $8.5 million. There was a medium at $11 million and a large at $17.25 million. And the small, they said they would not expand the footprint of the library, but do changes inside. And then the large actually had like them building like a field house for like the Park and Rec kids and just for the community. The medium did expand the footprint. So there was a lot of questions from the Board of Selectmen on that, and it's kind of given us all just something to think about and start really considering. I know the roof at the library is needs to be replaced, and so this is part of the push for it too. Zoning, there has been the past few weeks a public hearing on a property at, I think it's 91 Boston Post Road, which is a property which is right behind like Tri-Town and that area. And I think they have to have a ruling by Thursday at the upcoming meeting. So that's been hotly contested, and that's been going on. I don't
And
really.
that's just like conceptual, right? Because they haven't even come to us yet.
That's
Right?
correct. I provided staff comment to the zoning commission indicating that the wetlands permit would be required
Yeah.
for the proposed development.
Yeah.
Understanding that it is conceptual. You look at it as regulated activities, not necessarily prohibited. And this is on the most feasible prudent alternative, regardless of whether it's a 8-30G application or not. So, wetlands
Would they
still
have to
applicable.
go back to zoning? Or
They'll
are they
have to
just
go
taking
back-
it out of order?
No, they'll have to go back to zoning with a site plan approval. So when they,
Okay.
again, it's a conceptual approval, like, is this even feasible?
Okay,
If you can tell us it's feasible, we'll spend the money and do the engineering.
I see. Okay.
But can they just, if they're doing the conceptual, right? So I guess it's kind of like saying, oh, are you going to approve this later on? In a way,
Denied later.
it can still be denied later on.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's tricky.
Yeah, because I wonder then if they can look back and say, oh, well, you said this at this hearing,
Certain, you know.
And I don't know, I have not attended the
Yeah.
hearings, I'm just telling you that this is something that might be coming down the pike, before you guys. And I just know, just from speaking to people, that it's been, very contested, so.
Yeah, I'm hearing 16 units,
I-
well and septic.
I don't know for sure, I think Gary might know.
It might be more, but maybe closer to 20. I don't know. What if I copy the plan here? I have it downstairs.
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly.
Like single family or like condos or?
Condo, 2-family structures. There's a couple. There's 4 structures that I think have 4 units, and then the rest are like 2-family.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good
So-
to know.
So that's. I'm trying to think if there's anything else going on. Well, the budget, of course, we're still working on that. The Board of Finance is now going over the budget, and they have deliberations. Actually, it was tonight, and then hopefully they'll finish Thursday. If not, then they'll have another night of deliberations. So this is their busy time. We the Board of Selectmen finish, but so that's kind of everything that's going on that I can think of. Are there any questions by any chance?
You
No.
have anything?
Okay.
I guess, well, one thing, I know we bring it up every meeting about the buses.
Were you here last meeting?
Yes.
Still left in my own heart.
Like, I know, is that like, I know we had talked, I don't know if this is the appropriate time to discuss this, or should I not say what
No,
I'm
yeah, I
thinking?
mean, because
But-
we do want, it's kind of outside, there's no proposal to move it, so
Yeah.
we do need town support to have the bus garage moved.
I think my understanding is that they're trying to find another place to put the buses. I think, and that's the problem.
Yeah.
Is trying to find
The
another
Little League
location.
field, they just redid the Little League fields, and there's water coming down the hill over field 1 and field 2 to the water course there, and it's flooding out the fields.
Oh, really?
And I'm sure it's all coming from the bus garage. It's all flattened down, and all that wetland, and we've had so much rain. It's just, I think, originating up there and just flowing down.
So is there something they could do? Let's say they don't move the buses in the very near future.
Well,
They
that's
can't
what-
get moved. Is
I
there
was
something
thinking
else
maybe
that they could
some
do?
Riprap at the bottom of that hill going to the first field to try and absorb some of the water, so it's not sheet flowing over all the fields.
So kind of,
Where are we talking about? Right?
This is behind the middle school.
Like was it industrial
The
park?
Little League-
between the
the
Lyme
Little
area
League
and-
Right after the
fields.
gymnasium.
where they store the buses, basically, when they're not picking up the kids.
Can we put the buses together with the library? All.
Yeah, I
If
know
they're
we
gonna
had talked
build
about.
if they're gonna build a huge barn for Parks and Rec, you know?
Well, this is in the back. I don't know. I know that though
That's where the space would be,
they're,
to the rear of that parcel. Again, how it would lay out with whatever the library is proposing.
well, and I don't know, this is a plan that, obviously is just kind of giving everybody basically impetus to really start talking, That's the way we kind of looked at it, and there was a lot of questions. But what I'm wondering is, could they, what you said, like actually put up some like erosion and sedimentation controls by the buses right now so that we can prevent,
Yeah, I mean, at
the
least
problems.
in the short term, to do something like that would be better than what's there now.
I can work with Public Works and the town engineer and just say, hey,
Okay.
what can we do here to improve the current situation for the duration until such time that we find another location.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
'cause
think that
even
was the original intent. Now, I did have some initial conversations with them regarding this, and their thought was, well, the existing gravel lot is functioning quite well, like considering it's that material is no different than concrete. It's pervious, it's semi-pervious, I should say. It's not pervious. It's compacted down. So at the same time, you have a gravel lot versus a paved lot. So, would it make more sense to pave it, curb it, put drainage in?
Well, but you still you want the buses to be locked up too. I mean, there's a safety concern. They're just all out there for anyone to access. Most bus garages I see are behind a gate and locked.
And the nuances of that, I'm not certain because it's a private bus company using municipal property to store their buses. And how that works out contractually, I don't know. So, but I did say, I think I did indicate to the commission several months ago that I did speak to Jeff Newton about it, and he was open to having discussions. So I think maybe through Dan, we can start the ball rolling. I meet with him next Monday, so I think I can mention it to him then, and we can just.
Was that property we were thinking was the
over by Karen Share.
Yeah.
But I drove by that and I was like,
transfer
there's,
station? Yeah.
there's
Is yeah, it's like where they got the plows and everything. Public Works. It's
Well,
water and
it
sewer.
used to be the former town garage. Now, primarily water and sewer, they occupy the building in the rear. There is more land there, not that it's uphill, so I don't know that it's that easy to traverse for a bus. But the area along Roxbury between Romagna, it's flat. It's a former salt shed. The new salt shed is facility on Colton Road.
Is that town land though? Town property?
Where that
There-
salt shed is, that is town-owned land.
Is there enough space for the buses there, you think?
They don't need much. They're crammed in now.
No, I mean, but there's a lot of them.
I would
Yeah.
say
You know,
they
they-
would fill up the existing gravel portion there.
Mm.
You might have some hard time maneuvering with the existing building. I think you could probably get around the building without having to tear it down. I think it's doable, but what is currently lawn might have to get regraded and improved to fit and accommodate the buses.
Right. So that's like a Joe Bergaw
You
type
have to talk
thing.
again, yes, what is Public
Maybe we
Works'
could
intention to do with this property?
Take that property on
Utilize it.
Boston Post Road.
But certainly, I think it is open for discussion because part of the sale of the capital Colton Road project was we're going to abandon and get out of this building and free it up. So what do we do down with the free space?
Yeah, so maybe it's an option if we try to talk to,
Potentially,
yeah.
And we can continue to look. The town does have some other land holdings in town, but whether or not they're viable,
Yeah.
we'd have to look and explore.
Mm.
Yeah. Thanks.
Anything else?
Nope.
Okay,
Thanks,
great,
Sam.
thank you.
All right, moving on, we have no new business. Next would be pending applications. The first one is 201 Old Black Point Road, Old Black Point Association, Inc., applicant Robert Ferreira, owner. Application for the demolition of existing beach cabanas and decking and reconstruction according to FEMA and ADA standards.
Good evening, everyone. For the record, Joe Run, professional engineer with Indigo in Old Saybrook. As you recall, we were here last month, went through everything in detail with you, and then a few of you were out with us in the windy rain, cold weather a week or two ago for the site walk. Nothing has really changed on the plan. One clarification, there was some discussion of the surface of the driveway And as you saw, for those that were out there, it is paved or some type of hard surface. So that would remain. We do have the pavement to remain. If you recall, we're reducing 1,700 or so square feet of it in this area. But it would remain as paved. This area that we were just building up a foot or so because of the frequent flooding, that would either be pavement millings or pavement as well to maintain the surface. That's what they would prefer to do, but they are reducing the impervious surface there as well as part of the overall project and adding some buffer plantings to the tidal wetlands in that area. So with that, unless there's any remaining questions, we don't really have much more to add.
Is it a special septic system because of the location?
No, it's not special. The soil is great, as you would expect there. It's all sandy soil with a relatively deep water table. On the second page, we have the soil test results that we did on the left-hand side. So we had a fine sand and a medium sand and then a medium to coarse sand all the way down to 80 inches, 90 inches in bulk. There was groundwater 5 to 6 feet in both holes at depth, and evidence of seasonal high groundwater in one of them a little over 6 feet. So we have 5 to 6 feet of good, well-drained septic.
Any other questions? All right, would we like to discuss, or would someone like, we've talked about this quite a bit, would someone like to make a motion?
I move that we approve this project for recognition.
Thank you, Greg. Do I hear a second?
I'll second it.
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Great. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Just-
We do want to do a site walk when it opens up, though.
July 4th.
Yeah.
Sidewalk.
July or August.
We'll bring burgers.
One that'll take 8 hours. You know, where do we stand on the project, the other project you brought us, the one with the water running down the hill that was coming down as ice?
Definitely.
Yeah.
We need a couple days of no rainfall before they begin.
Oh, but
And-
we've
Yeah, we've already approved that.
Okay.
Yep, we're good.
Right.
That's approved. We're waiting for an extended dry period with no rain in the forecast, which we know that we can't get.
Good luck with that.
Maybe May or June.
Because my wife came home the other day and said that's exactly what happened the last time we had a cold snap with some rain before it, and it was all iced up there. So.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the road ice.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the main reason for the project. So thank you.
Thanks. All right, next on the agenda is 50 Gurley Road, James Bernardo, LS, applicant, Douglas Woodland, owner. Application to construct a single-family dwelling and associated appurtenances within 300 feet of inland wetlands and watercourse.
Hi,
Hi.
I'm Jim Bernardo, and again, this is property located at 50 Gurley Road. We talked about this last month. I went back and made a couple of changes based on some recommendations from the commission and from staff. And I actually got my highlighter out before the meeting, so I can clear. So again, highlighted in yellow are the inland wetlands. What we did was we added a backing of hay swaddles around the perimeter of the driveway. Worked with the town engineer this week on a design for some sort of pre-treatment for runoff from the driveway. And what we did was we added a riprap slope here down to a rain garden, vegetated rain garden, to offer some type of pre-treatment before the flow from the driveway goes out into the wetlands. We still have an outstanding item that we're still trying to address, and we're going to have to ask for the commission to table the application for the time being. The ownership of Gurley Road, or the right-of-way, is coming in question. As you might recall, the town engineer brought that up at the last month meeting, and we haven't gotten a resolution to it. What we've determined was that by town ordinance, the town owns up to this point here of Gurley Road. And they officially abandoned this area here, I believe it was 73, somewhere around there. So the question is, who owns this land that was the old abandoned Gurley Road? Typically what happens is adjacent property owners take title to the middle. But with no formal resolution and no deeds from the town, we're not quite sure if that is just a standard that happened or not. On the side, I had a similar situation in the town of Waterford, and actually the abutting property owner on the other side of the road did not want the land. So the guy on the opposite side acquired title to the whole thing, and it received a deed from the town of Waterford for that road. So I don't know that it's a legal question. I don't know that that automatically happens. So the next question, and as Gary has emailed me earlier today, is, you know, with the driveway coming here, if this property owner owns half of it, then we have to have him be party to this application for the permit. So we're still trying to get resolution. You know, the crazy thing is, I mean, does the state get half of this width here? I don't know, and that throws another wrench into it. It's not in my purview or my discretion to decide that. So, Gary didn't get a chance to discuss it with the town engineer. Maybe you want to touch on that a little. I'm sorry, the town attorney.
Yeah, I did speak to Mark, our town attorney. Basically, he reiterated what Jim was saying to you. So typically what happens is from the center line of the road right away, it goes back to the landowners. But in this particular case, there are some keys to those landowners, and it was no description in the ordinance that was passed abandoning this portion, saying what's going to happen with it. So based on my conversation with Mark, he indicated this was something he'd have to look further into, but really indicated that the onus is on the applicant to prove the ownership of that. Once they determine that, they make the party, whoever it is. Again, if it's the state, I'm not certain exactly how, you know, I guess that would be DOT, that entity. And DOT, you'd have to be asking probably District 2, which probably wouldn't be a hard ask. You know, again, we do know that this is a lot of record, and so that they do have the right to access their lot over this portion of land to get to it through ingress and egress. That said, as it is a wetland application, is not automatically approved upon the expiration of 65 days, and as the applicant has indicated, they request an extension of time. Anyway, just to play it safe, so that would give us time to figure out the ownership. Short of that, I don't see any other issues. I will note that the town engineer indicated he had no further comment regarding the drainage. So from that perspective, I think I'm feeling confident that the proposed drawing will work. While it is a steep slope, we're just going to have to watch it during construction. Maybe that's something that you can do during low flow, but depending on what time you go in there, right, to put that driveway in, I think they just have to install the ES controls and that riprap pad immediately, even before they pave it. Because I imagine they remain gravel until they get close to the house.
As I mentioned at the last meeting as well, the test hole, we did a test holes down almost 10 feet. It's all sand and gravel, so we do have very well-drained soil. So we're not anticipating a whole lot of runoff, but yeah, when these slopes are unstable and we have some velocities, some of the rains we've had recently, you know, all bets are off, really.
So the driveway will be curved all the way down to where the...
No, it's going to just be, there'll be no curbing. It'll just be asphalt, and we're pitching it towards the downslope side. So we have some sheet flow across the driveway.
Super elevated on one side.
Right.
Well, so my question is, were you putting a riprap down to a, I don't forget what you call it, a water basin there?
The rain garden.
Rain garden. But how are you going to direct the water there from the driveway if it's not curved?
Well, we're hoping, actually, we don't, and that's one thing, we don't want to curb it because we don't want to have that channelized flow. We're hoping a good portion of it is going to run off the edge of the pavement and again onto the well-drained soils adjacent to it. But what happens is, if you look at the watershed, there's a hill here, and so this is the area that we're primarily concerned because the water that's going to come across this area here, if you look perpendicular to the topography, is all going to concentrate as it hits this spot here and across this portion of the driveway. So that was our primary concern. These areas over here, we're hoping it's just going to sheet flow off the edge of the pavement and down across the vegetated slope that's there. But in this area here, we start getting a little close, and we actually have a little bit larger of a watershed that we're trying to mitigate.
Okay, thank you.
If Gary doesn't have anything, I did draft a letter addressed to the chair, granting an extension of the time and asking that the application be tabled for the time being until we can resolve this issue of the Gurley Road.
I would also note that they did receive a favorable review by the Legislative Health District for the septic installation.
Yeah, supporting 3 or 4 bedrooms. I saw that. Yeah.
In review of the zoning official's comments, did ask about frontage of the lot, based on this plan is a pre-existing non-conforming lot with a little bit of frontage on Early Road. I also don't know if it would conform, but nonetheless, just on record, as he indicated. So if he can get the wetland permit to cross, he can build this house. And he did indicate, and it suggested that maybe there, he was thinking there was something here being subdivided. I clarified with him that there's no proposed subdivision. The fire marshal had no further comments, and that is all. So I don't have any other comments other than David addressed them with this one more. This curve on the driveway. Again, maybe the recommendation here is that during construction, that they provide like weekly or annual reporting to you know, I can't be there every day. And at least weekly, or every after every rain event, they submit a report similar to what we did in Gateway. And obviously a smaller scale, but that's something that can do that they can do just to monitor that.
Okay.
But in the meantime, do you have that letter?
Yes.
Yeah. So they're requesting a 65-day extension. That's the entire time. Well, I should be ample. At least we'll determine ownership there.
Okay. Do we need to make a motion on extending, or are we just?
I would, yeah, it's recommended that you make a motion to accept the
Extension request.
Make a motion, we accept the extension request from the,
65 days.
For 65 days. For
yeah, for 65 days.
Mhm.
For 50 Burley Road.
Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Everybody.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
Good luck. Next on the agenda is old business, the inland wetland watercourse regulations.
So I have to admit, I was unable to.
Gary.
So I don't have a copy available for you. This evening.
Okay.
Apologies, for long and hard on that. And I feel like I'm dropping the ball.
We'll let it fly.
Okay,
Hopefully we can get those to you first thing.
you're fine.
Address it first thing in the next month's agenda.
Okay.
Other than this application here, we won't really have one.
Yep. Okay. All right. So chairman's report, I don't have anything. And I feel like there's something in the back of my mind that I did, but I just can't recall, so I'll make a note for next time. Inland Wetlands Agent Report. So we have lots of violations.
We have several violations. I will, 3 Spring Glen Road, they have been corrected. They put the silt fence in as requested, fixed and repaired it. So that one, report will go away. Again, I commented on 14 Park Lane, the show cause hearing. 8 Brookfield, you're familiar with it, still outstanding. I did speak to Norm Tebow, the engineer representing the Lares. He indicated that he was waiting for a response from them as to the footprint, what kind of house they wanted. That's kind of where they're at. So
And they, but that's only, it's only 2-bedroom approved, right?
he didn't indicate what ledge light. They don't have a septic design, but it was sounding like it's going to be a 2 or 3 bedroom, no more, only based on the availability of space. That said, he did say that the solar fence did perk, and they did find different areas in which they could place a second septic. I'd like to see the plan.
Yeah.
I did indicate to him that if it was going to take any length of time before they make application, that the agency may direct you guys to install plantings in the event that you never come forward with an application. I mean,
Yeah, right.
Right.
So how do you want to correct the violation with your application, or you going to put something back? So I think, you know, it's been quite some time. We started this back in November, December. We're now coming into the end of the, we're coming into the growing season, so now's the time. If you're going to put trees in for any plantings, now's the time. So I would, you know, with without knowing exactly which way they're going.
And I've noticed driving over Latimer Brook is very high.
Yeah.
So,
I can attest to that.
yeah.
So I certainly think, you know, 1 or 2 2.5 to 3 inch caliber trees, you know, it's probably what you can find from Pride's or somewhere nearby. Get those in, and within a few years they'll be relatively a little more substantial to help provide the shade canopy back over that water course.
Mm-hmm.
It's really what I would be interested in is reestablishing. I think the rest of the lot is fairly well vegetated where it would come back enough to maintain the understory. But certainly having lost the shade trees, definitely goes back short of the house. So I'm more than happy to request that they install 2 or 3 shade trees until such time as, you know, if I understand correctly, Mr. Pelham DiColari is a landscaper, so I would think he might be able to get some
Connections.
vegetation quite easily.
Are they required to be native?
I would say yes, in the sense that we don't endorse or support the planting of invasive, non-native invasive species anywhere in Connecticut. So I think that overall policy there is that they have to be native. That's what we push. We don't have it in our regulations. That might be something that we can talk about incorporating. And certainly recommending to both zoning and planning.
Yeah, because isn't it in zoning now that developers have to plant
They just
with natives?
recently passed the
Yes.
text amendment, yeah, to do that. So
So wouldn't it kind of follow us, or us follow their?
their lead, yeah, if it's not already in there. So on the revised set, we can find a spot.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, that sounds like a good path forward.
8 Brookfield, okay, 9 Rocco Drive. Again, I left it here because Mr. Brazzalia had come in and indicated that he was not happy that the vegetation was cleared, even though the slope was revegetated and it was coming back. Only in that because he now can see the houses from his property at on Quellcrest. And so I said, well, nonetheless, he did clear it. The question is do you want the agency to pursue further enforcement? I mean, do you feel that there's more of a violation here that needs to be addressed? And I haven't got a straight answer yet. So trying to figure out, do we need to...
So wait, he's the owner on Quellcrest who can see the houses?
Correct. The 185-acre parcel is owned by Paz Construction, LLC.
Mm-hmm.
His complaint was, well, I own the land and he cleared it. I now can see his house and I don't want to because when I build my house, I don't want to look at his house.
But he did revegetate.
The land is revegetated. It's not with trees or that was there. Jason indicated there was a row of pines that provided a screen, and those are no longer there. So what's there is like a more of a call it meadow type grass. It's a higher vegetated grass. It's not scrub shrub type environment. So it's more meadow grass all the way down to the lake pond. So you know, at least we have vegetation holding the slope, but it's going to be maintained that way indefinitely unless. So I told Mr. Pizzalia that fences may create neighbors.
Yeah, I mean, as far as we're concerned, the slope is established and protected.
Correct.
So from our perspective,
active violation and
yeah.
for us to take any further action, I would say he could install a fence and put in, or if he wanted to install plantings, he certainly could plant a row of pines or whatever tree.
But isn't his land undeveloped right now?
There's a single family home on it. It's a farm. It was a 185-acre farm.
Okay.
With some fairly large hay fields. I think was their primary crop. The land horseshoed around the pond, and there's a strip. It's not very wide, maybe 20 feet wide from the pond that belongs to this parcel. So just so happens that Jason inherited the violation, if you will. So that's all I have to say on that.
Okay.
So I think that could go away. I just wanted to brief the commission as to the status, letting you know that Mr. Pizzalia did make comment on that.
Okay.
And then 90-92 Laurel Drive. I believe I do have a phone call back from one of the owners there regarding this property. I have not listened to the message. I'm sorry. It was a phone call that came in today. Again, these notices, this was part of a packet of mailing that went out on Monday. But I do believe they have responded. This, again, has been about a year. The issue here was a bleed out onto the town road, and the filling.
Oh, right.
That could be construed as a man-made water course or a drainage ditch, really established. I believe there was some detritus in there, so it qualifies, in my opinion, as a water course. So we advised them to contact the engineer that did the engineering work on the 3 lots just to the north, and that they worked to design that drainage, designed to accommodate all that, prevent the water from bleeding out onto the road, and keep it into the back of our catch basin.
Is this the property in the Heights?
Yes.
Okay.
Corner.
Yeah.
They did install a shed because I had issued a permit for the shed. Unfortunately, I didn't realize how closely we were putting into that stream, or what I'm calling a stream, drainage ditch. It's not really close, but we can work with it. I think it may have to move closer to their home, depending on the work they're going to have to do with the design work. The channel is only a foot wide now with crushed stone, where I think it was slightly wider.
Oh, it was pretty significant, I
I
thought.
think it dipped down. I think it was a more gentle swale, but hopefully they've been directed down to hire an engineer. And so effectively we've just reissued that order, and so the clock's going to start ticking. So if we get no response by the next meeting, I think I'm just
Okay.
but I have a feeling they'll respond. And that's all I have at this time.
What about you were going to reach out to the Soapy Noble,
Yes, I contacted them to correct the issue in the back of the stone wall. I don't know if we'll get any better design there. Of course, we're waiting for the rain to stop to plant the plantings.
right, okay.
So
I know Tom had.
they'll go ahead and make corrections to that wall, that where the water had pushed the stones over. And then that whole basin in the back has to get cleaned out, if you will. So we'll gain a little bit of area, but not a whole lot.
They were receptive?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, good. Yeah, they've been good to work with.
Yeah, they're not a problem.
So I was there Sunday morning after the 3-inch rain. Neither detention basin had any water in them. Neither one. I was just surprised.
Well, after the rain that we saw, and then there was no water in that big basin, which I was just really surprised. There was water behind it, which made sense to me because the volume of water that's coming off of the hill and across Route 161. That said, I kind of thought afterward, like, why aren't we directing it into their basin? And I know why we're not doing that is because they're just accommodating the stormwater going off that they're generating within their basin size appropriately, correct? I think because of the sandy gravel, the sandy and gravel soil, there's so much infiltration, it's not retaining any water, and it's not sitting.
The smaller basin, the larger basin, the one that had the blown out wall, the water was vigorously coming out of a stream that went right down to the wetland.
Yes.
The other basin, the output pipe had nothing coming out of it. Is that, I don't know, is that to be expected?
Well, I would have thought that the large basin would have had some water coming out of it, but the fact that there was no water in it, there'd be no water coming out of the pipe. Where the other pipe was flowing, I mean, that's expected just based on the volume of water that's coming from across the street, up on Chapman Farms, the hotel and all that. That's all that water that gets discharged into behind the basin that they constructed. So I think that area has to get mucked out a little bit. They can't go down too far because the groundwater is just below the surface. I mean, it's within probably 3 feet. I can look at the test pits and come up with. So I think they'll muck out maybe about a foot of material, reestablish the stone wall, and that should help accommodate. Again, that will overtop. It's just not designed to carry all the water from up the hill. That being said, unlike the previous design, construction, it just discharged directly into this brook. We're here, at least we're stopping it, we're slowing it down a little
Yeah.
bit, and capturing some. So in the 1 inch rain events, I think we're covered. And that's really the guidance, that's what the guidance has been from DEP, is to capture that first inch of runoff. Beyond that, though, it clearly can't accommodate more than that. So
Who did Sobe Noble inherit that, or is it an easement? Who owns that
DOT has
drainage?
an easement,
Okay,
over that. for the
because it's
pipe.
I mean it's right at Sobe Noble, so everyone's looking to them, but it's not actually originating with them.
It's originating from Chapman Woods and Chapman Farms. So
Right.
they would have an easement essentially to drain across all of this
Mhm.
into the state right away. And then from there, the state has an easement to discharge it into our.
Didn't that used to just run right into the,
Yeah. It was
Yeah.
It was a culvert opening at the top of the, like at the, was it like 1, 2, 3 trees? And then the culvert emptied and it ran the length of the property back to the
Right.
stream.
So I
Right.
think it was slowed down a little bit just because it was.
It was a vegetated swell.
But yeah,
yeah,
And filtered.
yeah.
So I think, hopefully, again, after they muck out this area behind the basin, they vegetate it,
Mhm.
we'll have more
Vegetation.
vegetation, filtration, and
Mhm.
bio irrigating.
Okay.
I think overall, by capturing the soap within the building, putting that back into the sanitary sewer, very much better
Yeah.
situation.
right.
Yeah.
That's why at the last meeting, I was surprised that that stuff from Chapman Farms actually went into that retaining basin, because it never did before. And I didn't know that that basin was actually designed to hold that kind of water, as opposed to just the water coming off the car wash.
Yeah, so their basin was just designed for the car wash,
Right.
where that area in the back is kind of like, this is all we can do to treat, manage that water.
Mhm. Okay. You also have a little Indian pond on here.
Yeah, there's no update on that, but as of now, although I did go by, it looks like somebody's cleared some more fragmentation on the pond. I don't know. So, and it's along the street side,
On the street side.
behind the fence, like, so you have a fence. Now, the town went in there, we did work with one of our catch basin outlets. But that was it, and then I drove by the next day and all the fragmites are cut. Okay, well, we did that, and
Yeah.
ironically, it's not the Adabos, their fragmites are hot, they were cut, they've been cutting them. So I think because their permit has since expired, I don't know what the story is there, but I don't think they've cut them in the last 2 years.
Hmm.
I know I told Danny Adabo that it's a kind of futile effort unless you
Yeah.
really, you need to treat them with herbicide religiously, and they're not doing that. Just cutting them, so it's just going to keep coming back. So
Mhm.
short of excavating the material out, you're fighting an uphill battle.
Mhm.
And God, you want to spend the money on it, go right ahead. So that's where that's at. No other change there.
Okay. Well, wow, it's not even 8 o'clock yet. I think we're done. Anything else?
Can I jump in one more
Yes.
thing? I just wanted to say that for the East Lyme Public Library, they also have a survey that's on the town website that anybody should take. It's questioning about what you want to see at the community center.
They're on the table out here as
library.
well.
What'd you say?
They're on the table out here as well.
Oh, they are, okay, I didn't know that, but yeah. So if, just encourage people to do the surveys. That would be great.
The library is all surrounded by wetlands, isn't it?
Yeah. Vernal pools,
Yeah.
wetlands, yeah.
Well, this-
In the front, yeah.
I haven't really walked the back portion. I don't like it.
Yeah,
Oh.
the side.
Oh, okay, yeah.
There's,
I
Smith Harris.
wanted to back up. We approved the minutes?
We did.
We did.
Okay.
Click, click, click.
I know. Yeah.
I make a motion to adjourn.
Do I hear a second? All right. All those in favor? Uh-huh.
New record.
Thank you, everybody.